Floating barriers deployed by the state of Texas as a deterrent to illegal crossings can remain in the Rio Grande. That ruling by the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals hailed as victory by Governor Greg Abbott. The Biden administration sought removal of the buoys, calling them a safety hazard, which violated a treaty with Mexico. Now, while the barriers can remain in place for now, the merits of the case will still be the subject of a lower court trial if neither side decides to back off. Meantime, encounters on the Texas border with undocumented immigrants have dropped by more than 80%, which could have an impact on the coming election. Panel, could voters get the impression that the crisis is over? Bill and I had this discussion, so I'm going to throw it to him.
I've really seen a real reduction in the concern about this issue with people. It's sort of been surprising to me. I think there's a couple of things going on. First of all, the numbers are down. Secondly, I think people are beginning to understand the economics and the demographics of this. You know, the CBO put out a report about a week ago that they're expecting the federal deficit to be $1 trillion lower over the next 10 years because of this surge in immigration. You know, so this is a multi-faceted problem. There's not one easy, quick solution to it. You know, we need immigration, but we need legal immigration. But the truth of the matter is both parties in Congress have an incentive to let this problem fester because they think it's a political advantage to them.
Gary, if the Republicans lose some force in terms of the immigration issue, it could be big problems.
Well, there's a new Harris poll came out July 30th with a couple of interesting statistics. I looked at the whole poll and the crosstabs last night, and one of them was, is immigration still one of the top 4 issues facing the country? So it's still important. Number 2 was, and this kind of goes to maybe what we're going to talk about, Donald Trump's getting 44% of the women vote, which I was shocked because I'd heard comments made, oh, the women are all going to Kamala. So that's not true. So it's interesting how all these numbers, and the numbers of course change. The poll is just a snapshot in time.
April, the Republican message would be substantially diluted if people take their eye off the immigration ball. Meaning, when we start seeing the media roll out in the next 90 days, I would expect a lot of images of folks crossing. What's your take here?
You know, I understand that immigration is less than what it was before, and that is a good thing, right? Because we don't want an influx of people either. I think it honestly has a lot to do with a lot of folks being here, right? And we're busing them and airplaning them all over the country, and them calling folks back home and saying, you know what, it is not the fairy tale that we thought it was going to be, you know? No. So I think it's a lot of communication back to their home countries that they're dealing with. Like in New York, they're having the crisis of they're not being able to find housing or work because now there's too many migrants in one specific area. So could it be a problem for the election? Yes, but a lot of these cities are still dealing with the backlash of having an influx of migrants.
10 seconds.
The problem is that where they sent them in New York, that's a big point, and I'm glad, and I'll say it again, Abbott did the right thing because New York is already overcrowded. If you ever go there, it's 50,000 people waiting for a light to turn green. And so those people up there definitely told their people, don't come up here. Okay.
All right, still ahead.